There is a silent weapon in the aftermath of heartbreak. It doesn't involve chasing, begging, or pleading. It doesn't require grand gestures or endless text messages. Instead, it requires silence, stillness, and discipline. It's called the no contact rule. At first glance, it seems simple. You cut off all communication with your ex. No texts, no calls, no social media likes, no subtle attempts to get their attention. But beneath the surface, the psychology of no contact is far more profound. It's not just about ignoring someone, it's about rewiring your brain, reshaping your identity, and creating a magnetic pull that can alter the dynamic between you and your former partner. In this video, we are going to dive deep into why no contact works, the psychology behind it, what your ex goes through when you disappear, and how this strategy changes you in ways you never expected. Why we struggle after a breakup. When a relationship ends, your brain doesn't see it as just losing a person. It interprets it as a threat to your survival. Humans are wired for attachment. From an evolutionary perspective, being rejected or abandoned meant isolation, and isolation often meant death. That's why heartbreak feels so physically painful. It activates the same parts of the brain as drug withdrawal. This is why people obsessively check their phones, scroll through their ex's social media, or replay old conversations in their heads. It's not weakness, it's biology. You are addicted to the dopamine your ex once gave you. Now here's where no contact comes in. No contact acts as a detox. It's the equivalent of throwing away the drug. Without it, your brain cannot heal. With it, you force your mind to rewire. But here's the paradox. The very thing your brain is screaming at you to do, reconnect with your ex, is the exact thing that prolongs your suffering. What no contact does to your ex. Imagine this. One day, your ex knows you're there. You're texting, you're liking their posts, you're trying to stay friends. Then suddenly, you disappear. Silence. Nothing. This sudden absence creates psychological tension. Your ex is expecting validation. They are expecting to see you struggle. They assume you will reach out because that's what most people do. When you don't, their mind begins to question. Why haven't they called? Did they already move on? Were they stronger than I thought? This uncertainty triggers curiosity, and curiosity leads to obsession. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains are drawn to unfinished stories. When you cut off contact, you leave an unfinished story in your ex's mind, and the more they try to predict what you're doing, the more mental space you occupy. In other words, by saying nothing, you say everything. The shift in power relationships often end with an imbalance of power. The one who initiates the breakup feels in control. The one who is left behind feels powerless. But no contact flips this dynamic, because the moment you disappear, you reclaim the one resource your ex thought they controlled, your attention. Attention is power, and when you withdraw it, you no longer look desperate, you look scarce. Scarcity breeds value. Think about luxury brands. Why does a Rolex or a Ferrari hold such status? It's not just the quality, it's the rarity. And in the same way, your absence makes you rare. Your ex can no longer predict you, they can no longer rely on you, and that unpredictability forces them to rethink how much you actually mattered. What no contact does to you. No contact isn't only about them, it's about you. At first it feels like torture. You'll want to break it. Your mind will invent excuses. I'll just send one text, I'll just check their profile once. But every time you resist, you gain strength. Over time, no contact begins to transform you. You regain emotional clarity. The fog of heartbreak lifts, and you see the relationship for what it truly was, not what you idealized it to be. You rebuild your self-worth. By not chasing, you prove to yourself that you can survive without them. You create space for growth. Instead of pouring energy into someone who left, you reinvest it in your health, your career, your passions, and your future. And here's the most powerful part. Eventually, you stop doing no contact for them. You do it for yourself. The psychological stages your ex goes through. Psychologists studying attachment and loss have outlined a series of stages people go through when someone disappears from their lives. During no contact, your ex will likely experience some variation of these stages. Relief. At first, they might feel free. They may enjoy the idea of being single again. Curiosity. Soon they start to wonder why you haven't reached out. They expect weakness, but you don't give it to them. Doubt. They begin questioning whether the breakup was the right decision. Maybe I misjudged them. Maybe I was wrong. Anxiety. This stage often hits when they see you thriving without them. Silence becomes louder than words. Regret. At this point, they realize your absence has changed the story. They may try to reach out, test the waters, or even attempt reconciliation. But here's the catch. You don't do no contact just to lure your ex back. You do it to break free. And if they come back, it's not because you begged, it's because they realized your value on their own. Why silence is louder than words. One of the most fascinating aspects of no contact is how silence communicates more than any text ever could. Think about it. When you text your ex paragraphs about how much you love them, they feel secure. They know you're still there. They know they still have you. But silence leaves a void, a question mark, a story unfinished. Silence is a mirror. It forces them to reflect, to confront the reality of losing you. And here's where the psychology runs deep. When you stop chasing, you create psychological reactance, the human tendency to want what we can't have. The very act of denying your presence makes it more valuable. Common mistakes people make now, let's be real. Most people fail at no contact because they sabotage themselves. They break the silence too soon, or they secretly stalk their ex online, feeding their obsession. Here are the most common mistakes you must avoid. Texting to check in. This is just disguised begging. Don't do it. Staying friends too early. Friendship after a breakup can work, but not until deep healing has taken place. Using jealousy tactics. Posting fake stories to make them jealous only makes you look insecure. Breaking no contact on special dates, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. Your brain will use these as excuses. Resist. Remember, no contact means no contact. It's not partial. It's not just one text. It's a clean break. Real life applications. Let's ground this in reality. Imagine two people who both go through a breakup. Person A panics. They text constantly. They beg for another chance. They stalk their ex online. Their ex feels suffocated and the attraction plummets further. Person B disappears. They stay quiet. They focus on fitness, career, friendships. They grow. Months later, their ex sees them again. Not desperate, not broken, but transformed. Who do you think has the better chance at respect, attraction, and genuine recovery? The answer is obvious. How long should no contact last? This is the golden question, and the answer depends. Some experts suggest 30 days, others say 60 or even 90. But the truth is, no contact should last as long as it takes for you to no longer depend on your ex for happiness. Sometimes that's a month, sometimes it's a year. The key is this: don't treat no contact as a countdown timer to get your ex back. Treat it as a process to reclaim yourself, because when you finally reach the point where you're truly happy alone, that's when you hold all the power. The answer is obvious. The true psychology of no contact. So let's return to the beginning. The no contact rule is not about games. It's not about manipulation. It's not about punishing your ex. It's about psychology, yours and theirs. It's about breaking the addiction to someone who left you. It's about creating absence so they feel your value. And most importantly, it's about rebuilding your strength, your clarity, and your self-worth. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to win them back is the moment you become most magnetic, because nothing is more attractive than someone who doesn't need you, but chooses you. And that's the power of no contact.